Hi Grange Park. So hopefully you're enjoying finding out about Greg's adventures so far. We're going to start on a weekend now because we're going to begin on a Saturday. Another thing Dad's in charge of now that Mum's back in school is taking us kids to our dentist appointments. Most kids don't like going to the dentist, but I actually look forward to it. I've been going to the same dentist since I was 2 years old, and they are totally my type of operation. Tender hugs, paediatric dental care. We cater to cowards. Tall Pines Shopping Mall. But the main reason I like going to the dentist is because I am totally in love with the hygienist who works there, Rachel. Rachel always lectures me about brushing and flossing and all that, but she's so cute that it's hard to take her seriously. Your gums are in bad shape. You're going to need to floss every day from now on. Okay, hee hee. Mum's always getting after me about flossing too. She says if I don't take better care of my teeth, I'm going to end up with dentures before I go to college. I've been thinking about that, and maybe false teeth wouldn't be such a bad thing. If I had dentures, I could have someone else take care of my teeth, and I could spend extra time doing things I actually enjoy. The only problem with being in love with your hygienist is that you only get to see her every 6 months when you get your teeth cleaned, so I have to make the most of every visit. The last time I had an appointment, I looked Rachel in the eye the whole time she cleaned my teeth, so she could see I was definitely interested. This morning, I actually went out and bought some cologne to make an extra good impression on her, so when Dad told me to get in the car, I was ready. But Dad drove right past my dentist's office and got onto the highway. I told him that he had missed the turn and that Tender Hugs Dental Care was back the other way. But Dad said I'm too old to keep going to the kids' dentist, so starting today he was switching me over to his dentist, Dr. Kagan. I've got a chill up my spine when he said that name. I've seen Dr. Kagan's billboards on the highway, and I get the impression he has a totally different approach to tender hugs. Dr. Salzar Kagan, oral surgery and general dentistry, root canals, abscess drainage, bone grafting, because bad oral health is nothing to smile about. I tried to get Dad to change his mind, but he said he already did the paperwork to switch me over, and there was no turning back. I thought about making a run for it, but Dad must have known what I was thinking because he locked the car doors. Dr. Hagan's office was even scarier than I pictured it. He didn't even have any colouring books or toys or the kind of things they have in the Tender Hugs waiting room. Dr. Kagan was waiting for me in his office, and all his sharp metal instruments and drills were right out in the open for me to see when I walked in. So I could tell this guy was not fooling around. After I sat down in the chair, Dr. Kagan started grilling me about my eating and drinking habits. He actually got mad when I told him I was drinking soda, and he went in the side room and brought out a jar filled with brown liquid that had a rotten tooth in it. He told me this is what happened to a real tooth when it was left in a jar of soda for 24 hours. I told Dr. Kagan I would make sure I never left my teeth in a jar of soda overnight. I'm pretty sure he thought I was being sarcastic, but I was just trying to show him I was paying attention. Then he cleaned my teeth. I started to panic because if there's one person you don't want to be mad at you, it's the guy who's got metal tools poking around in your mouth. At one point, Dr. Kagan started doing x-rays. He put a piece of plastic between my teeth and told me to bite down. Then he took an x-ray and got the next piece of plastic ready. After 2 or 3 x-rays, I started to get the hang of it. So when Dr. Kagan did my molars, I bit down on the plastic before he even told me to. At least I thought it was the plastic. It turns out it was actually Dr. Kagan's finger. Well, if he was mad before, it was nothing compared to this. Dr. Kagan told me to go out to the waiting room while he worked on my diagnosis. I was pretty sure he was going to come back and tell Dad I needed to get a root canal or something so he could get even with me. But Dr. Kagan actually did something even worse. He told Dad to take major corrective measures for my overbite, and he gave Dad this pamphlet. Your child needs headgear. Dr. Kagan said I would need to wear my headgear at all times, especially during the day when I'm at school, So obviously he's trying to ruin my social life. Monday. When I woke up this morning, I couldn't find my headgear where I'd left it, so I had to go to school without it. Not that I'm complaining or anything. In health class, Nurse Powell told us we were going to be starting a new unit about parenting. She said that being a mother or a father is a big responsibility, and that in this unit we're going to learn that taking care of a baby is no piece of cake. Then she took out a carton of eggs. She said each one of us was going to have to take our egg home and return it the next day. And the rule was that we had to return our egg to her in perfect shape with no cracks in it or anything. Now, I don't know what a chicken egg has to do with a baby, but this one is one of those situations that makes me wonder if I'd get a better education if Mum and Dad switched me over to private school. Then Nurse Powell said this egg thing was going to count to 25% of our grade. Well, when Nurse Powell mentioned grades, I got really nervous. I'm already failing algebra, and I don't need to flunk out of health too, so I knew I was going to have to keep my eggs safe. Other boys didn't seem too worried about their grades, judging by what happened after class let out. I heard it took the janitor all afternoon to scrub the yolks off the lockers. The only boy besides me who didn't break his egg right away was Rowley, who tucked it in his shirt pocket. Come along, Rowley Jr. Pat, pat. I didn't have a shirt pocket or anywhere safe to put my egg, so I needed to figure something out quick. I ended up getting a huge wad of toilet paper from the bathroom and stuffing it into my backpack for cushioning. I had to take some of my books out so they wouldn't crush the egg, so I guess that means I won't be doing my history homework tonight. I'm nervous around eggs anyway because of an incident that happened last year. My family got invited to the Snellers' house for another one of their kids' half-birthday parties. The Snellers had a table set up with all sorts of food. Most of it looked too fancy for me, but I knew Mum would think it was rude if I didn't put something on my plate. The only thing I could actually recognise was the devilled eggs, because I had them at Grandma's house a couple of times. I put about 10 of them on my plate, but when I bit into one I gagged. The devilled eggs at the Snellers' house didn't taste anything like the ones at Grandma's, Meg, and now I had a whole plate full of them. So I waited until no one was looking, and then I dumped all the devilled eggs in this plastic plant in the dining room. I got away with it. But a few weeks later, Mrs. Sneller told Mum there was a really bad smell in the house and they couldn't figure out where it was coming from. At first, Mr. and Mrs. Sneller thought the smell was coming from the carpet, so they hired a cleaner to come and shampoo the rug, but that didn't solve the problem. And they thought maybe a squirrel or a mouse had died in the walls, so they had a carpenter come and try and fix it. After a few weeks, I guess they couldn't take the smell anymore, so they moved out. And I have to admit, I felt a little bit guilty when I saw they were taking their plastic plant with them. Ever since, I've been trying to figure out how to sneak some devilled eggs into Fregley's house. Tuesday. Yesterday, when I got home, I put my egg in my sock drawer. Then I realised it wouldn't be safe in there. Whenever I have something new, Manny finds a way to get at it and wreck it. In fact, it only took a day and a half for Manny to find my headgear. I don't care what Dr. Kagan says, there is no way I'm putting that thing in my mouth again. I thought about hiding the egg at the top of my closet, but that wouldn't stop Manny. I hid some comic books up there once, but that boy can climb like a monkey. What I realise is that the more work I put into hiding something, the better chance Manny has of finding it. So I decided to hide my egg in an obvious spot where he would never think to look. I put it in the refrigerator on the second shelf, but this morning I opened the refrigerator to get my egg and it wasn't where I left it. I went into a panic and I asked Mum if she'd seen Manny take my egg out of the refrigerator. But Mum said she was the one who took it, and that's what she was making me for breakfast. all of a sudden I felt sick to my stomach. I realised that if I couldn't even take care of an egg for 24 hours, I definitely have no business for ever being a parent. When I got to school, I noticed that all the girls in my health class had got their eggs to school safely. Some of the girls were carrying theirs around in little pouches they'd sewn, and a few of them had even accessorised their eggs with sparkles and glitter and stuff like that. Okay, I'm going to stop there for now. Do you think you could look after an egg for 24 hours? Maybe that's a challenge you can try at home to see whether you can look after an egg for 24 hours without it cracking or breaking. Let me know how you get on.